Today, it's my pleasure to welcome one of my closest friends, Dr. Kimberly Majeskim. Kimberly is an Enneagram 3 with a social subtype, and she is an adoptive mom to her son, who is 10 years old. Kimberly is a theologian, biblical scholar, and serves as the executive director of the Christian Women's Connection, which does work around the globe, helping empower women. I asked Kimberly to define success because this is a hugely important thing for Enneagram 3s to do. This is 9 in 9, Enneagram Wisdom for Life. Let's dive in. Well, welcome back, Kimberly. I'm so glad to have you.
I'm glad
We're
to be
going
here.
to talk about motherhood.
Okay.
Yes. So as an Enneagram 3, the motivation is to be successful, to achieve with efficiency. It's a constant search for affection and esteem and avoiding failure. How has being an Enneagram 3 and being a mom, how have you seen that impact or that intersection?
Well, I'm an adoptive mom. I became a mom with an hour's notice at the young, ripe age of 41. So all that is also a part of my package. But it means that, you know, I have to be the very best mom, the most attentive, the best well prepared. I will never let my child walk out the front door without his hair being fixed.
Well, you say that now.
I say that now. Yeah. Well, then this is what I was going to say. Like, it's sort of now you get that appreciation. He's 10.
Yep.
And I get the cuddles and I get the reciprocal kind of relational things. I'm told there will be years when that just doesn't exist.
I don't want to tell you.
I know. So I can't imagine, for instance, there being a time when this little person has a girl in his life that he values or wants to be with more than me.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 10 years old, and at this moment, I am grieving that already. So I can't imagine.
What does success mean to you as a mom, an achievement?
Oh, I mean, honestly, that he knows he's loved, that he knows he's loved no matter what he could ever do, that he always has a safe place, that he always knows he has people who are for him. Like that's what success looks like, you know, that I'm present, that I, you know, don't waste my life in my own achievements and miss his baseball game. I want him to have experienced a mother who's present and who delights, you know, in the things that he enjoys.
Yeah. Do you find yourself playing into, this is what it looks like to be a good mom, so I have to do that? This idea of like trying to fit a mold of what a good mom looks like?
For me, like, it's very easy to get on the scroll and go like, oh man, I didn't get the Easter bunny with the name monogrammed on it. Or do you know what I mean? Like, I missed the thing. We never did the elf on the shelf. Because we were tired. My mother-in-law, my stepmother sent one, but she sent a girl. My husband wasn't going to have a girl elf for our boy son. And so we were like, you know what? Who needs an elf? And so now I have this child who's like, why don't we have an elf?
And how does that make you feel?
Well, I feel sad. I didn't do the elf for him. You know what I mean? But gosh, he has a lot of other things, right? You know, maybe everybody else doesn't do Lucky Leprechaun running around your house on St. Patrick's Day.
Right.
So yes, you're always sort of comparing yourself to how other people are doing it, to the Instagram perfection reels, and feeling short of that for sure.
What is the best part of being an Enneagram 3 as a mom?
You know, I feel like maybe one of the things that works for me is I'm not going to leave anything undone. You know, like I'm not going to leave anything on the back burner. I'm always going to show up. I'm always going to kill myself to get everything set up and perfect. I'm always going to deliver. I don't mean that the way it sounds, but you finish a birthday party and you go like, I did the best I could do. I gave him all the things that I thought he would want. I created as much as possible this, experience that I think would be beautiful and honoring. He's never ever woken up a year of his life and there weren't streamers and balloons hanging outside his door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I feel good about that. I feel good that I'm able to be aware of those things and make those things happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. What's the hardest part about being an Enneagram 3 as a mom?
It's that, it's birthday time and I still have to get the streamers up. You know what I mean? Like, of course, that's the hardest thing.
The pressure.
The pressure is I want this to be perfect. I want this to be wonderful. I want this to be a core memory. That dumb movie, right? Everything's a core memory. So I have a lot of pressure to, I'm very aware that you have these many years, my son's 10, they say at 12, they don't take anything else in for a while.
What happens when you feel like you have failed?
Oh, well, I talk to my friends, I grovel, I seek the wisdom of mothers who have been in the game longer than me. I apologize. And so far, my kid's been able to go like, Mom, it's okay. Or, that's all right. Like I've been forgiven so far. So that's been okay.
What would you advise, or what would your words of wisdom be to other moms out there that might be Enneagram 3 or thinking they'll be a 3 or they know they're a 3? What words of wisdom would you give to other moms?
I would say the thing that I have to constantly remind myself is that it's really not so much about the wrapping paper being on point with the theme as it is to being present for what's happening. Like being in tune with his life, his thoughts, his questions, his, wanting to show me this trick shot with a hoop, or like those are the most important things. And so if you have to lay one down, it would be the matching wrapping paper that goes with the theme of the whole birthday party.
Right. Where do you think that temptation comes to have everything be so perfect and so like the birthday parties that you're talking about? Where do you think that motivation to be the best of the best, what's the heart of that?
I think a lot of it has to do with, I'm a 3. I think a lot of it has to do with I'm a Southern woman. And so those exterior things are very, very important to me. And so you're trying to keep up both at all times. The motivation feels like, I don't want him to wake up one day and go, my mom really screwed up my 7th birthday. Or, gosh, that was not good. Or, I'm very aware. I want him to have like beautiful things to look back on and to remember and to know that he was loved and that's what the translation of all those things were.
Yeah. The idea of presence being the language of love is a hard one for 3s. So future focused, so concerned about, does it all look like it's supposed to look? Is it as good as it can be? Is it everything I dreamed up in my mind? When actually the heart is presence.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, some of the best memories we've had have not been the big parties or the big events. It's when, like, he gets to travel with me and is just tagging along and gets to be a part of my, women's study symposium, and is on the front row, and then we go get tacos after, because it's just sort of saying, this is our life, this is what we do, you're a part of it, and you fit in here.
Hey, do you need some free advice about raising up the next generation? I've got a 1-page document that highlights a piece of advice and wisdom from each of the women this month.